What are the stages of recovery from infidelity? I mean, how do you come back from something that destructive to a relationship? I'm Jonathan Decker with Mended Light, and this is Ask a Therapist. I'm going to guide you through the process. Let's do this. So it's widely known that of the most damaging things that can happen to a relationship is a partner having an affair, it is a partner cheating. And it's not just the sexual and romantic component, it's the lying, it's the dishonesty, it's the betrayal of trust.
What he's trying to say, Ruben, is that we didn't plan it, Ruben. It happened.
A lot of couples don't come back from it. Here at Mended Light, we specialize in helping you to do just that, either as a couple or if that relationship dissolves as an individual to rebuild your life after this. Because two scenarios. One, you're a couple, you stay together and you limp along, but the trust is eroded and the love is hard to come by. There's a lot of anger, there's a lot of hurt, there's a lot of bitterness, and people start looking once again for closeness and connection somewhere else. Not just romantically or sexually, but also just overcompensating through relationships with family, friends, with your kids, things like that, to the point where you neglect the marriage. There's that scenario. The other scenario is the relationship dissolves, it falls apart, it ends, and you don't know if you'll ever be able to trust again. You don't know if you'll ever be able to, maybe you can love, but love and trust are not the same thing. And how do you know that you're not going to get burned again? How do you take precautions to keep that from happening without just completely enclosing yourself and shutting your heart? You don't want to be lonely, but you don't want to be betrayed.
I don't trust you.
Well, you know what? I don't trust you either.
Well, then we're even.
So if your relationship, if you're still together and you want to save the relationship, or if you're flying solo, the stages are the exact same. There's just little tweaks here and there. But first of all, did you know that less than 50% of couples where there is an affair, infidelity of any kind, less than 50% survive, right? Less than 50% of those relationships make it. What we do, we have an over 90% success rate. And the reason is because I got specific training and then I trained the team. And our training is based on the work of Doctors John and Julie Gottman. They did a 3-day, 12 hours a day, 36 hours training for therapists on helping couples and individuals heal from infidelity. And their work is groundbreaking, it's revolutionary, and it works. And I reached out to them because this training was for therapists, and I reached out to them and I said, can I create a program based on that for couples and for individuals using your material as well as my own experience as a counselor and my team's experience? And they said, absolutely, just direct people to our website for our books and stuff. So go to Gottman.com and check out all their stuff. But we've created a program called Healing from Infidelity that we've been doing for 5 or 6 years. Over 90% of couples who finish our program stay together and stay happy. Over 90%. 100% of individuals who take our program report that they now know how to keep from getting betrayed, knowing when to give and when to withhold their trust, and how to proceed forward with confidence.
So don't worry about me. I'll be fine.
So the 3 stages of recovery after infidelity are atonement, attunement, and attachment. And we're going to talk about each one of these for individuals and for couples. Atonement. Atonement means making things right. It means making amends. It means making something whole. And if we're dealing with a couple situation, if that's your situation, you're still together and you're trying to save the relationship, what that looks like is there is a betrayed partner and there is the other partner. The other partner is the one who had the affair. The betrayed partner needs to be able to voice all of their hurt, all of their anger, all of their sadness, and they need to be able to do it freely without the other partner, the one who was unfaithful, without the other partner getting defensive, making excuses, justifying, minimizing, shutting down. The person who was unfaithful, the other partner, needs to be humble, needs to be accountable, needs to take full responsibility.
You wanted this.
I don't want to give the impression that the atonement phase has a beginning and an end. It lasts the rest of your life. The atonement phase is, I'm going to take ownership of what I did. I'm going to take ownership of hurting you. I'm not going to minimize it. I'm not going to shift blame. I'm going to tell you that it was wrong. I'm going to tell you that I wish that I'd never done it. I'm going to tell you that I choose you. And I'm going to reassure you every single day with changed behavior.
I'm sorry I lied to you.
During the atonement phase, the betrayed partner and the other partner need to recognize that an actual trauma has occurred. It's called betrayal trauma. And after betrayal trauma, the symptoms are very similar to post-traumatic stress disorder. We often think that PTSD is the sole domain of firefighters and police officers, but that's not true. PTSD can occur when you think that your world is safe and then you discover that it's not. And that includes when you think that your marriage is safe or that your relationship is safe, that your partner would never betray you, and then you discover that they did.
You betrayed me.
So what does that look like? That looks like triggers that set you off. reminders, and you feel all over the place emotionally. Sometimes you want your partner close.
I'm gonna miss you.
Sometimes you don't want them close, you're disgusted by them.
If you ever come close to me again, I will kill you.
Sometimes you want reassurance and intimacy, and other times you just want to be left alone. If you were betrayed and you feel like your emotions are out of control, that's normal. That's part of betrayal trauma. You experienced a trauma and you're trying to correct and you're trying to find your equilibrium, and oftentimes it just sends you all over the place. If you were the one who was unfaithful, you may feel like, well, I admitted it was wrong and I stopped doing it and I said I was sorry, so they just need to let go and forgive now. And I hate to tell you this, but your actions traumatized your partner, so you've got to help them through it. Right? That's the atonement phase. And very, very often, in fact, I would say every time in today's society, because this resource is available, having a qualified counselor guide you through this is essential. So that's the atonement phase.
Maggie, I'm going to offer you a word and you respond however you're moved to from here.
The next phase is attunement. Attunement is, okay, we are working on trust and forgiveness, and there's a difference between forgiveness and trust. Forgiveness is I'm letting go of bitterness and anger and hatred towards you. And I can forgive you even if we never talk again. Even if our relationship ends and I never see you again, I can forgive you. And I can forgive you whether you ask for my forgiveness. I can forgive you whether the behavior ever changes, because I don't forgive you for you. I forgive you for me. It's to let go of this, right? And to not be dominated by it. Trust, on the other hand, has to be earned. And trust is essential for a healthy, committed relationship. During the atonement phase, we're working on forgiveness and trust. As we move on to the attunement phase, things are getting better. We're feeling closer. There's more trust. Every time that bitterness and anger rear their ugly head, we work through it through forgiveness. Attunement is now we're working on our relationship, because there's more here than just the betrayal.
What, I thought we were in the trust tree in the nest, are we not?
We are.
Okay.
We are. It's okay.
During the attunement phase, we realized that there were things that pulled us apart. There were things that maybe made us more susceptible to having infidelity rock our relationship. Maybe we were growing apart, maybe we weren't communicating, maybe we didn't know how to resolve conflict, maybe we felt lonely in our marriage. And maybe it was none of those things, but during the attunement phase, we look for and try and identify, how did this happen so we can keep this from happening again? And how do we strengthen and solidify our relationship?
Sometimes we forget how to do the easiest thing in the world, which is just to talk to each other.
And then there's a third phase, which is attachment. And attachment is we're doing well. Trust is here. Love is here. Forgiveness is here. And we figured out how this happened and what we're going to do to keep it from happening again. So how do we build on that instead of backsliding? What are the consequences for infidelity? Right? What are the consequences if this happens again? So that everybody knows, cards on the table, here are the stakes. How do we turn sex from something that is triggering to something that brings us closer together, where we feel safe and loved? And what connection rituals do we establish so that we are consistently there for each other, so that we are consistently connected, so that this type of thing doesn't ever happen again? So those are the three phases: atonement, attunement, and attachment. Now you know what they are, at least on the surface level. But how to actually apply them in your life, well, that's where we'd like to help you. I'd like to invite you to visit mendedlight.com, where you can learn more about our Healing from Infidelity program and get scheduled with a member of our team. I also want to invite you to check out our entire Ask a Therapist playlist, where I go toe-to-toe with your most burning questions right here. If you enjoy what we're doing here, please like, subscribe, click the bell so you make sure to get all your videos, and spread the word about what we're doing with your friends and family. Keep shining, folks, because we need your light. And here comes that video playlist. Click on it. You know you want to watch it. You need all the clinical therapy deliciousness right now. Do it. Clicky, clicky.